Yeah, I'm off to work right now as we speak.
I got you. I'm gonna record it just in case anyone needs to catch it before the market opens. Now remember, today we do have some data dropping, so we need to always make sure we check the calendar. How do I get this out of my way? Okay. Let me know if you don't hear me. I don't have my earbuds in, my headphones in, so hopefully you can hear me. All right, so let's see. We had, oh, why did it do that? Go back. Go to our economic calendar. We stay up. Really, you want to know ahead of the week. So we got core PCE data dropping. The good thing that I was saying is that all the data is dropping pre-market that we really want to see. So that gives us a chance to kind of get an idea of where the market is going to go and how they're going to respond to this data. So what we go over, you'll see scenarios of what could happen if we get a bounce or what could happen if we pull back over the market's response to this data. So always just keep in mind, you want to know at the top of the week, ahead of the week, what type of data is dropping and how that affects your trades. And then you prepare for it. So knowing that and knowing that we've had a few pullback days, we'll kind of just base it off of that. So I'm gonna start with SPY. Not gonna spend too much time on SPYs. A lot of the pros are already covering SPY, and you really could just follow what they give. Now, towards the closing of the day yesterday, I really like SPY more as like a bonus trade because when I compare this to QQQ had already hit their a bunch of order blocks and their 200 and their um, demand zones. So they just were in a lot of support. I didn't really want to do too much more with them. To close in that position, I found that SPY had a lot of wiggle room. So towards the closing, SPY was a cool one. So I caught a bonus on them. Um, but most of the day yesterday, I traded QQQ. So let's see. SPY had a high yesterday at 598.02. So if you weren't live yesterday, I was showing you like how you can go measure your high and your low. And if you did that, you would have seen exactly what I was talking about with QQQ, with any of the stocks that we looked over, is especially if you see them breaking the previous high and low, which you can see SPY did, right? Like if we look at it, they broke their high from I'm sorry, the low from yesterday. They did come up and try to push to test the high, but they didn't. It was just a reject. And so you get a $9 loss on SPY yesterday, all the way to the 200 weighted moving average on the daily time frame. Um, Really, the market gifted us again. It doesn't get much easier than just following the trend, which right now is just this pullback of a trend. If we kind of zoom out, I mean, look how far away SPY has been from this 200. So this is the daily. So we've tested it here just to give you August 2024. When most stocks did the pullback in August, we came back and tested it here. Never lost it, held it. We did a nice move, start moving to create all these all-time highs. That's why you get all of these break of structures, change of character, break the structure. Um, we pull back here. We didn't necessarily tap it, but we did get a pullback. Buyers popped in. And so right now we're right back at it. So what we're looking, honestly, is to potentially pull here. Again, we still have to see how the market reacts to the data, but we want to see if we'll get that pullback to this demand zone right here. And we want to also see whether or not we're going to hold or lose this 200. Obviously, if SPY gets under here, 565, I'm not saying that will happen. There's a big gap right here to fill on the daily. So still some room for SPY to drop if they are going to. Pre-market, they're a little bit up from closing. So they close at 585 and they're looking to, right now they're at 587.13. So let me just mark the low. of this candle, which is 584.65. So once you mark your high and your low, you can set some alerts too. And it does not mean that you can't get a trade out of the range of this day candle. This just means that if you get a clean break out here or under here, it's just an additional signal of some more moves up or down. It's a better confirmation, in my opinion, of a solid direction. Otherwise, you get an inside day and you're trading the inside of the range. So 584.65. So I would just call this like my key support and resistance. And then you can always just zoom out and look for additional based on whatever time frame you're using, right, to trade. Like you can almost eyeball some areas that you would mark as support and resistance. You got to change your character right here to the downside. And on the 15-minute, you see we can drop a little bit more. So to me, SPY has some wiggle room to go a little bit lower. Obviously, again, they're up a little bit pre-market. So look out for the pros. They definitely cover and scouts like deep fresh covers SPY a lot. So see what they're talking about. Where's the chat? Okay, thank you. You can hear me good. All right, so someone asked about Apple, so we'll take a look at Apple. Apple definitely was a disappointment. I was thinking they were going to try to break out, but it doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it. So we'll see. Um, so what did we get out of Apple? They are at 237.82 pre-market. Your candle for the day was a high of 242.46 and a low of 237.06. I like Apple to the downside. Guess we might have to trade them to the downside. So I'm just going to set an alert on Apple in case they do break the low. Same for the high, 242.46. You could also leave yourself a note. I kind of went over that already, where you just leave yourself a comment, previous day low, low, previous day high. And then you kind of just trade the range. And then when you get a full confirmation breakout, you want to know where we're going after that, up or down. Obviously, Apple has more room to pull back here around this 232.92, test to 200. And if they lose that, they have more room down here. Now, obviously, we're in a daily time frame. So I'm just going to pull it back a little bit, see what else might be ahead of Apple. So we got a fair value gap that was created here on February 12th. So around here, we get this fair value gap. So they could have a little bit of support when they hit 235.27, somewhere around there. 235.32. So let's just see how they react once they hit 235.32. It could just bounce around a little bit. Doesn't mean it still can't come lower. There's another fair value gap around here, around 232. So as they get closer there, and then we have more support here. But this is a very nasty red candle. I don't like it. So Apple, what I was looking for was to start breaking out of above this area. And as you can see, these wicks right here was already giving us signals. I kept getting stopped out. Like they would actually break out a little bit, but they just couldn't do it. They couldn't hold. So that's why break and hold confirmations are important because we just really didn't get that with Apple. Everything got weaker here with buyers. So this is where we are today. Just looking at a 2 hour. Yeah, more room to drop. There is some support though, as you can see. So, uh, yeah, if you're looking at Apple, you can play the range. You could add your ORB or whatever strategy you use and go from there. Yeah, definitely. Nvidia was definitely a move. So, with Apple, depending on what time frame you trade from, you have your range, right? You have your high and your low from the previous day, and you can follow that. As you can see, when you get that breakout, there's a little bit more space to move even more once you start breaking through some of this stuff. Or if Apple fails, you see we have some more room down that we can move to. And I noticed that Apple tends, if they're going to have a sell-off, Friday would be the day. So, and we know also that Apple can pull SPY down a lot. So keep an eye on that. We have to cover the cues. Definitely have to cover the cues.
If you don't mind me asking,
Mhm.
what indicators are you using right now?
Okay, so I have my wolf chart. So it's already basically customized to give me a few signals that it's basically like a trading confirmation system. So this is the indicator I use. It's the wolf chart.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I'll post the link in Discord for the wolf chart if anyone is interested. You really could just click the bio in Discord on my bio and you'll get it. Now, if you were on the live yesterday, I think we did cover QQQ. Obviously, look what happened. We broke the high, I mean the low, right? So even if you didn't catch any of this when it bounced up here and then sold all the way off down here, if you didn't catch the initial move, you still could have caught it from 511 when we start getting candles confirmed under, and you would have caught the drop all the way to the low at 505 cents. That's a clean trade. QQQ gave us a loss yesterday of $14. Excuse me, one. Yeah, so QQQ gave us a loss of $14. I mean, it was crazy. It was a great opportunity. I definitely was thankful for this move right here. And if you again can see the visual of what I'm saying about previous day low and high, you'll see the significance when we break it. So from Tuesday, we had an inside candle on Wednesday. So we had a nice range to trade, but as you can see, there was no clean breakout from the previous day. This candle gave us that. I knew that I was okay on QQQ. Actually missed a few dollars of a move down because they did pull right back to this level, but I left at about 504. So a few dollars left on the table, but I mean more than satisfied because I'm here. I'm seeing the rejections here in a smaller time frame. So I'm gonna show you what that looks like. And we're just gonna look at the range again. It's a clean range to trade, and there's a lot of support here on QQQ as well. So keep that in mind. It doesn't mean that with enough selling pressure, with enough NVIDIA tanking, if that happens, can't pull us down a little bit more. Just know that we do have some support that can kind of make us get a little choppy around here. So your range for QQQ from this day, we could trade in this range for quite a bit of time. It just depends on the market. Is going to be a high of 519.07, and your lowest range is going to be 505, 505, sorry. And there you go. So we can come test some of this low. We can come back to that 511. We could do a few different things. Right now we're at 502. They don't look pretty strong pre-market yet. And I think we're just again waiting on data. Just notice a bit of support here. Buyers were stepping in here and buyers were stepping in here. So then you just kind of map it out from the time frame that you're looking to trade it from. I'm on the 15 minute right now. So yeah, we have a few areas that we can look to come and test. Let's see, 503. We could bounce back up and test this fair value gap at 503. Sorry, 504. And we could reject here and come back and pull back. So again, we can get a bit of just some moves like this, up and down, up and down, up and down. This is a big range to break out of for QQQ. So again, you'll just see what happens for the day and pay attention to what makes up QQQ when you're trading them, right? So you know NVIDIA, Meta, um, I think Google, yeah, Google, it's a whole list of stocks that make up this ETF, and you want to know how they're trending for the day because that'll move. Google was going down, Nvidia was going down, QQQ was just following along too and going down. And so when we were here, I'm going to go to the 5 minute to show you what I was seeing. That would have been Thursday. Okay, so we were here Thursday. And as you can see, even looking back at Wednesday, we couldn't break out of this. So even Wednesday to close, we got that pullback because we could not. This was just a bunch of sideways trading, never a clean breakout. Same thing happened at opening Thursday. We couldn't get out of that. And so we just had the downtrend. Then you get a sideways trading. And so you're looking to see, well, what's the direction from here? Because you should be out here. Like this was more than enough to start the morning. What you could have done is left a runner to see what the rest of the day was giving. But if you're in ODTEs, you don't want to hold those contracts long. You want to grab your play. And so if you were following ORB, right? I know a few people do, then this was a clean break from your ORB. This is your opening candle. This one breaks it. And so you get a move from 517. There's no green candles popping up. And your low is 507.34. That's a lot. You should be done for the day, really. But I mean, the market was gifting. So guess what I did? Came right back when I start seeing this. So we're good from here at the opening. We're done trading. If you were just doing QQQ, you're done by 9 o'clock. That doesn't happen so often, but when you get moves like this on anything, just be done. Don't try to overtrade. This was more than enough. You take a moment, take a break, reassess, and if you see any other clean directions, you take it. Clean direction. We lose my 12 EMA, we get the arc on the wolf chart, and we come down, and we come down even lower, broke the structure here. We come down even lower, all the way to this level here. So great trades on QQQ if you caught that. Um, but if you were just following your EMAs, you saw the signal. If you were following your ORB, you saw the signal way up here. You knew we'd come here. We lost all of that. We came on down. So here's your range for QQQ. It would be a bit of a choppiness for a few days, but this is a lot to be able to trade from, whether you're trading it up or down. Whatever we get, just follow the directions of it and see what we can trade out of QQQ to close out the week. Good morning. Okay, what else are we looking for? I know I'm moving a little bit fast, but I'll stop and see if you have questions or want me to check anything.
And at what time frame do you look for a break and hold?
With QQQ or SPY, anything I'm day trading is gonna be off the 5 minute and the 15 minute.
Okay.
I'll do a look ahead on the other time frames. Like, there's a few things like I had to go to, I think it was QQQ. I had to go to 1 hour to see that they had some support in the 1 hour at some point that caused them to kind of bounce around. And then once they lost that, they truly came down. So around 509, I noticed they were a bit they were struggling, not struggling, I guess you could say they were just up and down, and then sellers took over there on the 1 hour. So I would still I'll assess the larger time frames, but my signals are like from the 5 minute.
Okay. Thank you. I think you got
You're
some
welcome.
questions in the chat.
IWM for this for the live. Do you think Tim is at its floor? You can check. We can certainly check.
I think they asked for TEM, TEM. Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah. Let's take a overall view of TEM. We're gonna look at the monthly. So obviously, if you got caught playing the earnings here, it doesn't look like earnings gave the move. So I'm gonna take all this off. Yeah, this is not the week you want to see. So although they had a great pre-earnings move, 1 second. Although they gave a great pre-earnings move, they didn't really. obviously it failed. It was a significant pullback. Shares were, we had some inside trading, so a lot of take profit happening from insiders. They fall back 15% from their Q4 earnings. And the monthly just looks like they are looking weak with that wick. All right, so on the weekly, we pulled back to, this is almost like tweezer tops, right? We pulled back to the 12 EMA, and right now, pre-market, they're at 53.37, still looking pretty weak. Even if you look at it from the weekly, we're under the weekly candle. I'm sorry, no, we're not. Yeah, we are. We're already under the weekly candle. So this is the weekly. This was the week before, and we've already broke the low of this week. So yeah, just a really big pullback. I'm just trying to see where would the floor be. The wolf chart gave the signal here. But they still have quite a bit of room to go. I mean, they can come as low when I'm seeing around $42. Okay, so here's some support. They're pretty close to this 200. Actually, they're already there if you look at it from pre-market. If they lose under 48.27, and I'm just giving a rough number, well, I can give you the exact 48.31, they'll come back and test probably around 37.50. That 41, 42 area right here, they can just stop right here at support. But that's if they lose this. So right now they have a little bit of support they can bounce around in. If you see them start to get weaker, especially around 48, then they're probably going to come down some more. It still is a range. You can measure your high and low if you were looking to day trade it. I just don't know if you're looking to invest in it yet. I don't know if it's there yet for you to start doing anything. So as far as finding the floor, I don't think so. I don't think so. Make sure they don't get under 48 for sure. If they can hold there and start to do some moves back up, baby buyers start to show up. But all you're getting right now is red candles on the daily. This is a pretty bearish candle, so I don't see anything special happening yet. We might have to have to follow through and close some of these gaps down. Let's see. IWM, sure. Sure. All right, IWM, we still got some room down that we can come here. Let me get this out the way. So, I mean, the demand, we're not too far away from where buyers are positioned. So there's still a few dollars that we can lose. So they're 212 pre-market. They can start hitting some buyers around 209 from the daily. Same signal, like I was telling you, if you just had measured your high and low, and traded from your whatever system you use to trade from, EMAs, your ORB, whatever it is, you already know that this was a clean breakout. So if you didn't enter until they broke the low of yesterday, you had a nice move. So they lost a few dollars on yesterday too. And see here, they broke this right here. This should have held as support, but it didn't. And so, yeah, maybe they can come down. Again, we do have data that we have to be aware of. So your high would be 216.49 for a breakout, and then they can, from the daily, come at 217, 218. And when they come here around 218.79, you might get a reaction and a pullback when they come test this fair value gap on a daily. I'm just seeing if there's any support in between there. Nope. clean moves down. So if the market decides to continue to pull back, IWM is likely going to still keep targeting the area that we already have buyers. There's nothing really green to say, hey, we get a reversal yet that I can see. So, yeah. I guess we just have to see if we're going to get that another day of red. I don't know about you, but I've been enjoying puts. I don't think I took a call yesterday at all. So yeah, nothing special here. Measure your high and low. But even if you follow ORB, you should get a good signal. If you follow your EMAs, we know that once a stock is off their EMAs under your 200, I'm using the 200 weighted moving average, we're just bearish. And it's kind of been that way since Wednesday. I'm going to pause for a second because I know sometimes we have new people on that may have questions. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. AXON, Palantir, LMND. You're welcome. Okay, so let's look at AXON.
You're in the hospital?
Axon.
What's wrong?
Let me, I forget how to
You
mute.
got the flu. You got it real bad, man.
Mhm. Okay, so I just muted everyone, just not to pick up any background noise. So if you want to unmute yourself, you have a question, just do so.
Hey, pretty. I'm late. My baby had woke up. I missed the whole thing. I'm so glad
I
you're still
recorded
going.
it. I recorded
Are
it. It's
you, are
okay.
you
Yeah,
recording?
you'll be able to
Okay.
run it back. I'll post the link once I load it.
She woke up right
Good morning.
What did you go
Um,
over so far?
we went over QQQ, SPY, Apple. We've been moving. Um, Tim, TM, IWM, and someone asked about AXON and Axon Enterprise. So we're on them. I mean, they just, I don't see green candles anywhere. They did pop up after earnings, but that didn't last long. So they beat earnings, beat revenue. Um, I don't know. Like this one, if they lose to 200, and you could trade the range, right? Like you could measure again your high and your low the day before and trade the range. But if they lose this 200, they'll be at 509 from what I see from the daily. And then there's still a chance they can pull back somewhere around 554. Any lower than that, you might start to get this area here. I don't think they look like they're telling you you can start buying. And when you just see a bunch of red candles, I just don't see that as a clean signal to start any positions if that's what you're interested in. That's me personally. I need to see some clues that we would actually be reversing. So yeah, they did pop up, nice gap up from earnings at 504. So when did they post earnings? Tuesday after hours. The next day, Wednesday, they were all the way up here. Wait, so they closed. I'm just trying to see what they did for earnings. That was big. They closed Wednesday on at 496 and gapped up to $75. I had to zoom in to make sure I was reading that right, y'all, because it's early. I didn't even know this. They gapped up $75. That's pretty insane, actually. And then they pulled back $46. A lot of profit taking. And we just have to wonder, are we about to get buyers? You need to see some buyers start to step in. Watch some smaller time frames, see if you're getting signals or clues. That was a huge gap up. So anybody that caught that, um, kudos. That's pretty big. Yeah, they still have room to pull back. I mean, it's Friday. You have to wonder if people are going to take profit, right? It's and close out the week. And maybe buyers start stepping in again because it seems like the market did like their earnings. A $75 move to the upside is insane. So this one might have to be a to be continued. Oh Lord, somebody wants to look at AMD. Do we really want to? Okay. Again, whoever was invested here, you shouldn't trade for the rest of the week if you caught that move. All right, so let's look at another stock. This one, I really will tell you to be cautious. Maybe there's some more profit taking to happen. There's just no green from that big gap up right now to tell you that we have an interest. I mean, this is all just signaling pullback. So if we get a take profit Friday, I mean, I don't know, maybe I might watch them for some puts. Why not? All right, so we are at 6 o'clock, so we'll keep moving so we can catch as much as we can. Um, Palantir. Towards the end of the day, I said that Palantir was probably going to have to go to 83 after they broke that weekly support I had, and they definitely came to 82. So looks like I might have had the direction right on this one because this weekly support I marked it has been key. Which one you can see it on the 4 hour even they needed to break out of that. They did for earnings, and they came and closed the gap. They tested it here on Tuesday and bounced. Nothing major from the 4 hour. And we started losing it yesterday. So I was like, when my alert went off, I wanted to alert everyone that we were losing what I call a key support level. And sure enough, we're at 82.74. So let's see what we're doing. That's why you gotta set your alerts. You gotta find those key areas because if a stock ever comes down to it, you want to know. And so I've been wanting to know what Palantir is doing around 85.25. All right, so we're at 82.80 pre-market. They can still come down to 80, 89. They can come down to 77. For some reason, I keep thinking this might hold around 80. We'll have to see. But yeah, it doesn't look good for Palantir. If you're an investor, you still want to see some hope. And we're just not getting hope yet with these red candles. I would have been looking at this 85.25, like, are we going to hold? Are we confirming support finally? And that just didn't happen. And in fact, we're under it now. So it doesn't look bullish yet for Palantir. Now, where we are on the weekly, if I zoom out, I'm almost certain. Yeah, so we had a fair value gap that we just came through here. A big fair value gap. So your fair value gap would have been somewhere right here to here. We're pushing through it. And I'm not going to look at the previous month low here on this chart yet because who's to say buyers don't start picking this up once we get to that $80, that $77. We'll just have to see. But same story for Palantir. We're just going to look at the previous day. I'm just going to call these numbers out. You have the high for yesterday was 93.62. The low for yesterday was 84.17. We're already under a support that I have labeled on my chart at 85.25. And under that, I was thinking 83. We're actually a little bit under 83. We're at 82.41 pre-market. Again, data could change everything for the market. We'll have to see. And we still have some lower levels on Palantir around 80, 87, and I'm still looking at the 77 from the daily. Zooming in, we have 81.29 here. Maybe they could start bouncing around here. Yep, so I'm looking at 80. I think 80 is going to be that number I'm going to target for Palantir and want to see if they'll hold or not hold. Oh, look, I found some support. This break of structure, when we break structure, we can still come back and test that break, and it could still act as some, 1 second. We can still have that test here and it'll act as support. If we lose it, then that's when you'll start getting the 80, 81, 80, 79, but that support could possibly be 82.24. And we probably, yeah, 80. So I feel like 80 is like a sweet number for the market with Palantir. If you just want to give a rough number and see what it does there. So we can still come back to 80 if we don't start holding support around where we at right now. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more just to see if I'm missing anything. I think this is why I said 83 yesterday. I was thinking it was going to hold about right here, but they're already falling weak, so we will see. See how the wolf chart just has it already all mapped out? Like if you're just a busy person, I really don't have to do anything. Doesn't mean I don't know what I'm doing, but the system is already telling me. We knew from the wolf chart on the 19th, it was shaky grounds to Palantir. And we've been under this 12 EMA ever since. And so we dropped right to the 200 on the 3-hour chart, played around the support that I was telling you about. And so we're just looking weaker and weaker. And until you could start seeing real buyers step in and hold it up, I don't see a confirmation yet. And what you're looking at is you're getting lower highs. When you get that bounce, that's still a nice tradable bounce on the 1 hour. You pull back, bounce back up, pull back, bounce back up. So you're going to always get that type of a movement in the market until you get some sideways trading. Just to bounce down to support, you might get a quick little pop where we're coming down, and that is we'll have to start breaking some key points to see a real reversal on Palantir, and that's just not happening yet. Can you also look at Meta? It has bounced twice at support. I think I might hold. I think Palantir might hold too. We're gonna have to see it. 82, but I say 80 would be like just that sweet spot that maybe the market wants to see. So I wouldn't be surprised. Okay. Sorry, I missed this one. SMCI. Okay. Hey, I had SMCI guys and sold. And then they pulled back even more yesterday. I can't be greedy, but still that I think that particular contract was worth like 500, $600 yesterday. It was crazy. Okay, so let's look at what do you guys think is going to happen with Palantir? I don't know. It doesn't look good for me. Okay, what did I do here? Okay, I tossed on the anchor VWAP. I'm gonna take this one off. And I'm actually gonna zoom out for a second. Okay, pull back to 200, just kind of flat. We're getting the crossover arc from the wolf chart. We got two red candles to measure the high and the low. Low was 42.55. Pre-market, we're already under that. I don't remember where I got this 39.80 from. It looks like from right here. So you can see what happens once we get to 39.80. It does look like that's some support. We broke it, came back, lost it, came back to it, broke out. And so maybe we can come back and test it. I'm gonna take this high out. I'm gonna leave this 39.80 on my chart just as a signal for me. And an alert. Okay, so there is gonna be some support as we get lower than 39.80. But that might be the move. If we lose that, as you can see, we've been here before and lost it. Came back to it, lost it again. So I'm gonna keep that as a sweet spot. I like to find a real sweet spot and see how this stock is gonna react to it. And you can do that on almost every chart. Just find like those key areas and just watch it. So they can come back and test this 38.50, and if they lose that, they'll start to get a little choppy right here. And I'm looking from the daily. 34.98 is also another level. But yeah, measure your high and low, and you can follow SMCI the same way. I did toss on an anchor VWAP. at opening from their earnings and prices under that as well. So just a few signals that they don't look too strong. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they come back to this 39.80 today.
Can you do UNH, please, if you don't mind?
Okay, I'll definitely try to get that one in a few minutes. Okay, puts, yeah, that might be your move. I won't cover Hims, but I think maybe D Fresh covered Hims on his video. He's been on them lately, so make sure you check out what he posted. AMD. I looked at AMD guys and it just doesn't look good. So my theory here is pretty simple. They still got to come down some more. We're almost to target. We're almost there. Um, so I think even in a video when I posted on YouTube, I was like 106.50 seems to be holding. Look to the left, we've had 106 before. And so we've been here before. It has been a place that the stock plays around with as support and resistance. So I like that we were here and that we were holding, but we lost it. And I wasn't paying attention when we lost it, but we did. You don't have any signals of a green candle starting to show up to tell us that we're pushing up anywhere. All that AMD has been doing to people that every time you try to take a little bite, it's just creating lower highs, and making the move down. Where are we going? I think it's going to be right here, 97.44. But I will tell you, if they lose under 92, 93, it's a lot lower. I'm not saying they would drop that low. There's probably some support and buyers posted somewhere in these charts, but for right now, we'll look for that 97.51. Right now, they're 99.91 pre-market. Nothing strong about this stock. Nothing saying invest here if you're trying to find a spot to invest. So it's kind of unfortunate they just have been pulling back, but you'll probably get a nice buying opportunity on them at a lower price. So patience pays, right? Because if you just wait, you'll find a sweet spot. But if we're looking at them, measure the low and the high of the day, and again, nothing looks good. They need to come test some of these demand zones. Okay, Uber and Walmart, and we need to do UNH. And yeah, I think put some Tesla. I mean, sorry, on AMD. Let me not say the word Tesla without looking at the chart. Um, AM, UNH, UNH. Why did they drop so low right here? Was there news? An investigation on the 27th, United Health Group that there's possible breaches of duty related to bit. Okay, this doesn't look good. All right, so 447 might be their target, guys. They did get a nice bounce because here's the thing, when they drop to these type of demand zones with order blocks inside of them, it's just a lot going on. We have buyers that have been positioned here from some move way back whenever. Like you probably got to go, okay, right here, April. They've been well away from this zone. They came back and tested. When you see something like that and they finally get to it, and we know buyers are positioned here, you're going to get that immediate reaction. So even when they pull back that day, if you tried to chase puts because you saw they had gapped down so much, you probably lost because all they did was immediately react. But it wasn't a strong move. So we'll have to see what happens. They're looking weak. They have an investigation going on. This is an easy measure the previous high and low. They were had an inside day from Wednesday's high and low. So you can still follow Wednesday's high and low plus this high and low and see what type of break you get. They clearly could not break above 473.05. And even here, when they tried, it hasn't been strong. So maybe puts. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you what I'm thinking. 458.16 if they start rejecting here again. So even if you see them bounce here, they need to start breaking out here. If they don't do that, they're just going to come back down. So don't get caught up in a fake height. I personally think they might need to lose this support and start to catch it here, and hopefully they can hold here. But I'm not going to go over the full chart of UNH. I'm just going to say it doesn't look good. The news around them doesn't look good. Um, and so yeah, they don't have earnings until April. You're welcome. We can do Tesla and Reddit and Meta, and then I think we'll wrap it up here. So let's look at Tesla. Did we cover NVIDIA? I'm moving a little fast, but I just want to try to catch a few. But let me know, did we cover NVIDIA? I don't feel like I talked about NVIDIA.
I don't remember you covering it today.
Did I?
I don't think you did.
I don't think I did either.
Uh,
I don't know what it is. Yeah, we're trying to request.
I think your audio's out right now.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Let me it says someone's trying to enable available to host. I don't know what this is, so not now. All right, let's look at Tesla real quick. Doesn't look good. We're on the daily time frame. I'm looking at 273.54. I don't know. This might be a target. 273.54. You might get some fake bounces. If you were just following, again, this one of my favorites is when we're starting to break previous day high and lows again. Because what'll happen is you might get those fake bounce, but if they never come test that high and break out of it, you're really just getting the inside range of a trade. It's not any clean breakouts. Every time Tesla has opened up since Tuesday, it's been breaking highs. So Monday was here. I'm sorry, lows. Monday was here. We broke the low of Monday. We get $27 pullback. We come to Wednesday, we break another previous day low, we get a $12 pullback. If you were following the previous day low of Wednesday, we broke it and we had an $8 move. So, I mean, they're just marching down. And it just doesn't look good yet to test. So my next thing would probably be this 273.54 if they're going to continue to pull back. That's what I'm looking for, especially when they lost this 291.880, 291. And I also think I deleted it, but I had a level like at 288 that I was following. And yep, nothing here. You could literally just measure the high and low again. If we don't break either, that just means that your trades are inside for that day. You're just trading the inside range, and that's okay too. You can capitalize from it. Those are big caps. So with Tesla, I would just tell you to do that. Measure your high and low. So that's going to be a level at 297.23 as your high, 280.88 as your low. That's your range to trade inside of. You could also look at 309. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Hold on. Am I saying that right? Yep, I am. 309 as a resistance and 288.84. Sorry. So what you can look at is 288.04. Can we come back and test 288.04? Yes, we probably can. And besides that, we're just going to be playing this range. And then I also see 297.42 as some high points that we could test from the daily. But Tesla is already at 281.21 after closing at 281.95. So it doesn't have anything special yet to say buy me for the upside. All right. So if you're looking at the wolf chart, we knew here. We definitely knew once we start losing at 12, right? And it just doesn't look good for Tesla yet, y'all. So yeah, I would just say to range the Tesla. You do that, stick to your strategy, and inside that range, whatever your strategy is, or be EMAs, VWAP, you stick to your strategy, but that's your range to trade in Tesla. Obviously, the upside looks a little choppy, right? Like if they're going to try to break out, it's just a little choppy. You'd have to have some real strong buyers showing up to say that we want to push this up. Otherwise, yeah, you'll get some bounces, but you'll get some resistors as you get those little moves up. And again, they just don't even look good pre-market. Nothing special on Tesla. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't cover Walmart, but I do have a few minutes, so we'll cover Walmart. UNH. We already did AMD. Let's take a quick peek at NVIDIA. It's important to keep up with at this point. It's been a talk of the town, NVIDIA. What's really funny is once I was done, I went and grabbed a $30 contract on NVIDIA, and I think that one profited $100. And so I'm sitting here like, I saw the move. Why didn't I grab like a few $30 contracts? And what I did, I just trying to remember NVIDIA on yesterday. Yeah, they did this fake bounce. Okay, so let me show you what I caught because I do like when we get these little fake bounces because honestly, when it's a bearish move like this, when you get a candle like that, I think Chris has even covered on his video, you could just even have like a psychological mindset that if we can't break the middle range of this candle, we're not doing anything special. For me on the wolf chart, I already had a fair value gap that I was looking at. And so when a price came and did this little fake bounce in the middle of the day, well, I guess it was around 10:30, and I'm looking at it from the 2 hour NVIDIA. I've seen that that next candle on the 2 hour was not going to do anything special. Then that was my move. This is my entry. And so a $30 contract, some people are like, I have a small account, I can't do anything with it. You definitely can on a trending day. It was too many opportunities to capitalize because from this pullback, that $30 contract closed, I closed it right at before the end of the day. That's well, excuse me, well over $100 of profit. So if I had two of those, three of those $30 contracts, you can still make some nice moves. You could sell runners at different targets. Let me sell contracts at different targets, leave a runner. You can still talk that talk for $30. So don't ever be discouraged. What you really want to do is find a nice trend move. And we knew NVIDIA was looking very suspect. Now, where are we going? We might get some bounces, right? Might come and test this 122.62 because I'm on the 2 hour. So, and we still have some lower levels that I'm looking for. Even if we get a bounce, I'm kind of still waiting for us to come target somewhere around here, 117, 116. What? Okay, so let's see. There's buyers when we start to get around 119.36. So it can get a little choppy around there. Pre-market there at 120.11. And I'm still seeing that we're going to probably come around this area. Yep. 117, 116 is ideally a target. If we start losing this, because we've been testing this area, we came back here January, we came back here February, and we're back here again. If we start losing that, obviously the lower levels are here. That's a big gap down. So we'll just have to watch and see what we do. But I'm still targeting if we get a sell off on today around 116. Now, you're inside range because NVIDIA, if you were watching it, it broke your previous day low about 128, came all the way down to 120. That's an $8 move if you didn't catch the top rejections. But nevertheless, it gave an $11 range. So even if you played the range here, there's nothing special, especially if we try to come test 128 in some miraculous way, it bounces up, or 124.45. There's nothing special, honestly, with this type of a sell-off. It has a lot of work to prove itself, but I mean, it's a clean range to trade for a while. So we might get some bouncing around in all of this. But your breakout will really probably have to be if we get out of 135 and starts to move here. And it's still choppy if we do that. Poor NVIDIA, they just couldn't do it. All right, I want to do a little one last bonus and we'll do Walmart and then we'll wrap up. I did record, so if you're catching it late, I will be posting this. All right, Walmart. Let me just zoom out for a second. So Walmart could probably bounce all the way to this 98.71. They're a little bit up, right? Let me just take a look. So they're at 97.03 on the daily and pre-market. Yeah, they're 97.03 pre-market. The high of yesterday was 98.04. See what they do around 98.04, just to not get caught being fake that they're going to the upside. And then the low, which they have some support from this fair value gap that they fell into. It's right here, 96.08. Anything special outside of that, they would probably need to break this 98.73 and then around this 99.01. Then they can come back and try to get higher. But from their earnings, in fact, let's just pop in a anchor VWAP. Okay, so yeah, they're trying to get above their anchor VWAP from earnings after that pullback. So this was a pretty strong candle, and so they're kind of playing around here and still have to prove themselves, especially above 99. Maybe if they can get above 99, I'd be more convinced that they're trying to do something. Otherwise, you're getting a lower high here. So again, Walmart, you could do the same thing, trade the range, but be mindful around 98, 99, you have some resistance. I hope so. Imagine if we can get NVIDIA at 113. Was there any other? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't do RDDT. I'm just gonna do a quick peek, just to cover it. All right, it's probably gonna be pretty simple. If they get under 156, then they're coming down some more. So yeah, this seems to be a very important level, 156.04. And as you can see, we have candles trying, but they never break under that. So 156.04 is holding that support, and you have a nice range for the day. So high was 172.14 yesterday. Was it? Yeah. And then they dipped all the way to 156. They gave a little bit of a wick, but if they're holding 156, then I wouldn't look to short them without confirmation. That's candles holding under 156. Otherwise, they'll probably trade inside from the small time frame. Just mark your high and your low. And then if they do pop, watch what they do around 176. They could get a rejection here. If they do lose support at that 156, that's going to start to give you clues that we're getting weaker because that's been holding as support for a bit. 146. All right. So yeah, Reddit has support at 156. Otherwise, look to see if we start to reclaim some EMAs and curl back up. And then that'll be your signals that they're possibly have buyers starting to step in. I'm going to stop here because I do have a hard stop. It's time to get into mommy mode. I hope everybody has a good morning. I hope this was a little bit helpful for you. And I hope you have a great Friday. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Have a great day.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
good day.
you.
Bye.